Hello and welcome back to my channel, or hi if you're new. My name is Emma, complet grad, film grad, filmmaking grad. It's a new year, it's a new era? I don't bloody know. I think maybe I need a new intro. If you have any suggestions, I'm always game. Hello and welcome back to my channel, and for another New Year's resolutions video. I have 12 of these now. Is this 13? I have 12 or 13 of these videos now, which is a bit wild. My channel turned 10 last year, it's turning 11 this year. So it's just, yeah, you know, it's just like, yeah, I was filling in my bullet journal for this year earlier. I have like a birthday like spread so I can remember to wish people happy birthday, because I don't have Facebook. So subtle fancy flex. So I need to write down people's like birthdays and their ages. And it's like writing like my friends and my siblings like ages down that they're gonna turn this year, and I just feel like we're hitting some like serious numbers. It's like watching us all creep closer to 30, or I'm like, you know, I started this channel when I was 14, so the idea of like, you know, I'm turning 26 this year. I started this YouTube channel when I was 14. It's very, it gets nothing but surrealer, because I thought, you know, I was a child of many phases, which we now can call ADHD, but the idea that I still do this is mad. The fact that this has been here the whole time, it's kind of fun. It's kind of wild, it's kind of fun. It's gonna be weirder when, like, if I choose to have kids and stuff, that they can get to see me when I was like a teenager. That's gonna be very weird and funny, and literally not the point of this video. Hello, this is my New Year's resolution video. I have like so many of these. I fucking love New Year's resolutions, man. I love them so much. They work so well for me. And I also feel like I'm very good at them, which is like the thing that keeps coming back to them. I'm sat on my bed, so I'm trying to figure out how to like not ruin my knees to sit on this bed. The way these videos always work is I reflect on last year's resolutions, and then I will share with you this year's resolutions. Last year, I have to say, I think I went a little bit wishy-washy, not wishy-washy, but I went very general and almost a little bit more, not spiritual, but like kind of that essence. I usually do very practical New Year's resolutions that very much reflect on like my intentions for my achievements of the year. Very much more objective based, not very practical. And last year was very much just not have a massive mentee bee. That was like the gist of things, because at the end of 2021, especially in October, I genuinely had a bit of I had a bit of a mental breakdown. Of course, like, you know, in internet terms, we overuse that like phrase quite a lot, but I really had like a mini burnout, not a big one, but like I really was just so done with schools and like with productions and stuff. I was just so spent. So I think a lot of like my intentions at the beginning of last year were very much just like take care of myself mentally a bit more. And I've always taken good care of myself mentally, or like have been very conscious about it since I've been a teenager. I kind of almost like forgot a little bit too much. So these are my New Year's resolutions from last year. The first one was letting go of being a perfectionist. And I rewatched this video. We're all linked down below if you want to go see them, by the way, or if you want to watch me age backwards. It was to let go of being a perfectionist. I centered it more on my work. The reason that I'd had such a stressful time at the end of the year was because I was editing my grad film, and I had this feeling of like, I can't get it right, why is it not working, because I was editing it myself. So it was very much rooted in that. I kind of explained it away a little bit, being like, oh, well, just, you know, I'll never not be a perfectionist in my work, but I can try not to be that bad in my personal life. Now, man, I also kind of got to let it go in my work, because it really is it puts such a mental block in your brain of like, if this isn't perfect, I can't share this with anyone. If it's not perfect, I'll never make something else. It's just like learning that sometimes you have to let things be done. And that is super hard and scary, especially when it's something creative and like you put a bit of your soul in there, you chop part of who you are off and put it in this thing to help it grow, and then it's not quite right or not how you imagined it, and that is really stressful. And the other thing is, because it's film, you make so few of your thing in life. If you do something on a smaller scale that you could just do yourself, you can keep going, keep going, keep going. But I feel like with film, because I've only made like I say proper short films. Also, my definition of what proper short film is has continued to change so much through the years, but like I really only made 2 proper short films, which I think is wild, right? Like in so many ways I've been a filmmaking since I was 14 years old and I've only made 2. So it's this feeling of like, I've made so few of the thing, this has to be perfect because I've only got a couple attempts at showing that I'm good at this. That's just how it feels, right? So it's so hard to let it go and to move on to the next thing. But I think I was like, being such a perfectionist about my grad film, it was really, really hard to let go. And I finished it, which is fabulous. It's been sent off to festivals and stuff. Accepting that it was done was really, really hard. And it's not perfect, of course it's not perfect. It's a grad film. I'm 25, I have so much to learn. I have a lot of room still to grow into, which is nice. Not being a perfectionist, letting it go and moving on to the next thing. Because it's like, if you get caught up in trying to perfect something, you do miss out on that room to grow. Sometimes you, and I hate the fact that I'm saying this to myself, you do sometimes just have to let it go so that you can move on to the next thing, because you no longer will grow with anything here. You will here. And that is so hard. But I also have been doing that more in my personal life, which has been really cool. Especially with the idea of like, you know, that's fine. That's good enough. That'll do. Don't worry about it. Like that I have been doing more, which has been like a relief. Hugely relieving. Especially because in my last video I talked a lot about like trying to not be squished into a neurotypical box because I have ADHD and some things, but everyone else thinks as though it's totally normal and whatever, it just does not work for me, and just working with that is making me just mentally a lot more. So that's pretty fun. I guess kind of a big way of how I feel about New Year's resolutions is they're just signposting who I am right now and where I'm going, rather than being a be-all and end-all of like, I must do this thing. It's this kind of feeling of like, I was going here anyway. I kind of feel like I'm making it official and then moving forwards. I love New Year's resolutions, I think they're the best. My other New Year's resolutions from last year was to be more balanced and figure out what it means to me. Something that I've like come more to terms with after many repeated cycles is, because I have ADHD, that like I get so hyperfixated on a thing, right? I've done it with Pilates, I've done it with going to a gym, I've done it with running, I've done it with loads of creative like hobbies and crafts and stuff. Like I'll get really obsessed with a thing and then I'll stop doing it and then get really mad at myself that I'm not like running 4 times a week anymore, or like hundreds of kilometers a month, and I'm like, I cannot compare myself on a normal day-to-day basis compared to who I am when I'm hyperfixated on something. And that's okay. And I guess in terms of like accepting balance in my life, I've always described myself as an all or nothing person, and just sort of I guess coming to terms with the fact that I am an all or nothing person. That's just who I am. I can't try and balance myself out to be more 50-50 kind of, like that's just not who I am, okay? That's not it, that's not who I am, it doesn't happen. That's also fine. I've made it work for 25 years. See, the thing about growing up, right, is that when you manage to get like, you can say stuff like that and that's like, it doesn't feel right, you know, because when you're 15 you've only really been like sentient and conscious as a being for about 7 years anyway. So the idea that now I'm 25 and I can say like, oh I definitely remember at least the last 20-18 years of my life is really bizarre. Like when you can be like, oh we've been friends for like a decade and stuff, you're just like, when did this happen? Like, YouTube for a decade? When did this happen? But as ever I digress. Balance is an interesting word. There are many interpretations. Well, that's cool. My heart is still beating. It's fine. And honestly, I think these 2 resolutions for like letting go of being a perfectionist and the figuring out what balance means to me, I think they were hugely set in like a big part of like, I guess my unspoken intention maybe of bullying myself less, because when you set certain expectations for yourself about stuff that doesn't really matter, especially like in a domestic setting for myself. Look, laundry takes 3 to 4 business months. That's fine. When I couldn't accept that properly, staring at laundry that's like folded and ready to go in my wardrobe, but it sits there for like 3 weeks on the floor and then I can't do the thing because now it's no longer a pile of clothes and laundry on the floor, it's my shame and my self-respect and it just becomes those things, not what it actually is. And that's really difficult to cope with. But kind of just seeing these just clothes, it's fine. Again, my heart is still beating. I still have clean clothes. It doesn't make me a less valuable member of society. And I know that these things sound very insignificant, and in the big scheme of things, they are. But these are examples of just like how my brain gets like, its wires tied up on all these kind of things, and it's just a lot about like, it's fine. It's okay. But I think a lot of these things are part of maturing. But more than anything, it's part of your frontal lobe developing. I've said this before, like, I'm 25 now. The jump between 23 to 25 is insane. I'm telling my little brother this. He turned 22 recently. When he turned 21, I was explaining to him that, like, you will feel like a teenager till you're 21, and then 21 to 23 is like, you're kind of just there going, I don't know what is going on. And then 23 to 25, like, fuck, I'm grown up now. You can, like, feel, I'm cooked, right? Not in the crazy sense, but like in the my brain is done sense. And that means the last like 2 years, you mellow out. For all of you who have been the 15-year-old with really strong opinions and that sense of like, oh my god, what is the world? And nobody has ever felt these strong emotions and intentions the way, and feelings the way that I have, and the opinions that I have. You'll mellow out, you will become less anxious. It's a really, really, really nice feeling to just kind of be like, cool. You can't explain it to teenagers. I could never explain to my younger self this. You have that to look forward to, I promise. It's really something we should tell people you get to look forward to. I guess in a way because I feel like at 25 I've fully become an adult, and more than anything I'm the adult I hoped I would always be, in a big way, and that's so exciting. So I feel like I look after myself better emotionally because now I'm an adult, so I feel like when I look after myself I feel like I'm looking after the kid version of me. I love inner child stuff. You're an adult looking after a kid rather than a kid looking after a kid, and so why would I be mean to myself? Would I speak to a child that way? No. Why am I speaking to myself that way? Duh. If you think this is a rambly video, hello, you must be new. Oh, and then the other thing that was my New Year's resolutions for 2023 was to brace myself. I'm glad that that was one of them, because, oh boy, last year was a lot. Last year was pretty significant. I thought it was going to be like a sit around on your arse, twiddling your thumb, sending out a lot of CVs kind of year, and getting no responses. That I anticipate for this year. Maybe I'm just saying the same thing all over again and with the same results. Yeah, this year was significant. I had to write down a list of stuff because I was forgetting things. You know, I finished my grad film, I submitted it to festivals, I graduated, I actually got a job. Not in film is fun at the moment, but I have a job. I really love my job. Part-time job, but I really love my job. I got my license, by the way. Oh my god, I haven't said this anywhere yet. I got my driving license. I got it at the end of last year, like right at the end, just before I went away. Long-time watchers of my channel know, learn to drive, get a license has been a resolution for such a long time, and I did it. It was my second attempt. I am so freaking gassed about it. Like, it was a thing that kind of made me feel like last year, like the reason I had to write down this list of things that have like happened, I don't want to call them achievements, but like significant things that have happened. I almost like couldn't let myself enjoy a lot of them because I felt like the ultimate way for me to signify I'd done something in 2023 was to get my license, and I fucking did it. So I feel like I can just let myself chill out now, which is really, really nice. I fucking did it. I did my first test in a manual car, and as you may remember, botched it, failed it. I failed so dramatically that test. It's actually not, it's only funny because I really kind of fucked it. And now I passed. I did it in an automatic. I'm going to continue taking lessons in a manual just so I don't forget how to drive. But yeah, I got my driving license. Did the thing! I wanted to do the thing and I did the thing. Two things that have been used resolutions for such a long time over like different years on this channel were to write and make a proper short film and to learn to drive. Eventually these got axed. Like, this wasn't a resolution this year, 2023, because it became an inevitable thing that was going to happen, and I wanted to like stop mixing up New Year's resolutions with like career and life objectives. I don't think I will ever put get a job or buy a house or get married. Like, they would never be New Year's resolutions. That's not what I value New Year's resolutions for. I feel like they're much better for setting intention. Teenage me always wanted for me was to learn to drive and to do a film, and you can do the things, it's really fun. I think more than anything, New Year's resolutions is reminding yourself what's important to you. Whether you achieve that year or not, it's really about reminding you what is the most important thing to you. What are the most important things to you? Finished my grad film, submitted to festivals, I graduated, I got a job, I got a license, I redid my CV. This was bothering me for such a long time. It's like hanging over me. I feel like I couldn't redo it until I got my license. And now I do. So I just redid my CV. It's already. I'm gonna start being like, please give me a film job. I have car and license. Oh yeah. You want to be in film? Learn to drive. Get first aid qualified and DBS checked if you can. You don't need to go to film school, you need to learn to drive. If they just told me on my first day, get a license, could have saved myself a lot of stress. Anyway, redid my CV, I got a boyfriend. Again, not an achievement. I don't like to frame it as such, but like that was like a really fun thing that happened this year. He's lovely. My parents sold our childhood home. That's, again, these aren't achievements, but these are big old things that happened this year. I've done a lot of therapy this year as well. I mean, the same amount that I've done every year, but I feel like this year I've got to like reap the benefits of it in terms of all of these things that have happened. I know that I have far more mental strength and endurance, I think endurance as well is an important one, to like deal with them this year than I have had in previous years. For example, over Christmas my grandma died, which again, this is why it's not a list of achievements of the year, but it's more that these, like I thought 2023 was gonna be like a filler year. Do you know what I mean? And that is simply not how life works. At all. Ever. So like I said, not a list of achievements, but I feel like I'm grateful to myself. Thank you past me, for putting, you know, the resolutions I did, because kind of more about being kind to myself, and then, you know, mental fortitude, always good. And I think, again, turning 25, prefrontal cortex developing, being fully there, meant that I've been able to handle all these things a lot better than I have, or thought I would be able to in the past. Because a lot of these things are pretty fucking big, in both good ways and obviously bad and sad ways. But yeah, mental fortitude and kindness to yourself goes a long way. Yeah, I love how I thought last year was going to be a filler year when, yeah, it's just simply not how life works. But that's okay. It is what it is. So moving on, my New Year's resolutions for 2024, we're going back to some practical ones, because you know what? I do love these. I love it so much. Like any ADHD girly, we love turning a kind of inevitable hyperfixation into a resolution, and then you can feel really good about yourself. For example, one of my New Year's resolutions, the one I want to start with because I'm excited about it, is I want to learn to embroider. I have been wanting to do this for a little while already, and I've been like frantically saving videos every time I pop up on my Instagram being like, ooh, this. And the reason that I want to do it more than anything, right, is because first of all, I know it's going to be another hyperfixation. I know me, it's another hobby, it's another craft, whatever gets the dopamine going, alright? I want to learn to embroider, but massively because I want to get more into being able to sew and mend clothes. Less about creating new clothes, really more about just fixing what I have. This comes from the fact that I have this beautiful dress, right? This beautiful fucking green dress. It's gorgeous. It's fucking beautiful. I snagged it. I snagged some thread, and now it's there like staring at me. You can't do anything about it, so I can't hide it again. So I may as well turn it into something new. Plan is to embroider like a small flower over it. Visible mending, but really embroidery. And I want to like make fun stuff. Oh my god, I got this massive rip on like the arse of one of my like pair of jeans. And it's huge, it's like a rip this big, and I don't know where it's come from. If you try and do it so that it looks nice, it still looks not great. So I figured you may as well make something pretty out of it. Turning lemons into lemonade. Should we go with? I'm very excited about it. Of course there's no hyperfixation, that's fine. I try and limit myself to one a year of these, right? Last year was making bracelets. I bought a bracelet making kit. I've made so many bracelets. I've got so many of my friends come over on the premise of like, do you want to make a bracelet or a necklace? It also feels like it gets a bit like an impulse buying urge out as well. You have like a new fun shiny thing but you didn't spend any money on it, so well, you did on the kit, but honestly, kit in terms of like cost per use per make, so worth it, so worth it. And I think it'll also just mean that I get, you know, the most out of my clothes. And it's just, you know, these are really important skills that we stopped learning. We stopped learning them, you just buy new things. No, we have to learn to mend things. Oh my god. Another New Year's resolution that was a really big one for me. I am only allowed to buy second-hand books this year. There will be no first-hand books bought this year. You may buy them for me, but I may not buy them for myself. Look, I've spent a lot of money on books all of 2023 and 2022, a lot. Like, it actually was quite bad. I kept being like, where is my money gone? I'm like, it's sat in my bookcase. Well, that was a big one, second-hand books. And like, there's nothing wrong with buying second-hand books. Like, people get like weird about like why. It's also because I don't want to buy any of the new Penguin Classics because I hate the covers. So we are kicking it old school because I have bought all of these fucking editions, the same one, and because now the spine of the Penguin Classics with the new ones doesn't align, and so on my bookcase I have that nice like stripe. The idea that I would have something, and they're all organised alphabetically, so if you don't have that stripe and then one that's like wrong, just makes me like physically be sick. Yeah, that's not happening. There's only second-hand books this year, Emma. You will thank yourself for it later. It also means that I have to stop making book hauls and actually make videos about the books I've read. So it's in everyone's interest, okay? Okay, the next two are a little bit boring, but let's just. One of them is just, for God's sake, to leave my phone on my desk while I sleep. I don't have a bedside table, so I usually leave my phone on the floor by my bed. If I could just leave it on my desk. It's this whole thing of like, it means the first thing I do in the morning is pick up my phone and scroll, and the last thing I do at night is scroll and then put down my phone. I don't think there's any way I could imagine of any reason that would be good for me. So just putting it on my desk, baby steps. Because I do this whenever I'm sleeping not at my flat. You know, the world doesn't end when me picking my phone up isn't the first thing I do in the morning, so we can just divorce myself from my phone a bit more. Other one, a classic one, is get back into running. I do love running. I ran once last year. I got peer pressured into running a 10k by my friends, and then I ran it. It was my like third best 10k on my running app. I was like, this is bullshit, but I do enjoy it, especially the endorphins afterwards. Emma, you love running. You hate putting your shoes on and going out in the cold. You love running. And I kind of miss seeing bits of London this way. I love London, so I just want to explore her a bit more this way again. And the other thing tied into that was that I had a specific objective with this. One of my best friend's friends, I think she's doing a half marathon in May, and it's invited our mutual friend, and then was like, because we were at a party, she was like, you do it as well. I was like, okay. So I'm again slightly being bullied into doing it, but like, we love, okay? I want to run the half marathon, that's what I said. She's running the marathon. Run the half marathon. It's in May. Emma, you can do that. You've now told all of them that you're doing it, so please do it. And then the last one, the other one, is to become less financially illiterate. That one's pretty self-explanatory. A couple of my friends work in finance. I've said, look, if I bring you a list of all of my questions and a bottle of wine and or baked good, will you sit down and explain this to me? I have been told yes, so we're just gonna, I need to get a bottle of wine, my list, and baked good, because I can't, no. People I ask for financial advice are my brother being like, my little brother being like, can you explain ISAs to me? No, I need to grow the fuck up. I need to just get it explained to me. Or look to explain it to myself. But this is an important one. I'm 25. Emma, cut the crap. Be a grown up. And then the last one, which I think is quite exciting, it's like my big one for this year. My fun one is the embroidery. My like goal orientated one is really the like not buying a secondhand book, and then the grown up ones are, you know, no phone, running, financial literacy. Then the other fun one for me, so you know how I always say that I'm going to do the Why Read the Classics video, I genuinely will do it this year. I have a list of essays that I want to write, and then I never do it. I chicken out. It's like, oh, I'd be so good at doing this, so for as long as I don't do it, I don't get proven wrong, I don't get proven that I'm bad at this. I can just enjoy like my, you know, my own delusions, obviously. So I've had enough. And the first essay that I've told myself I should write is In Fear of My Own Words, which is, you know, why am I terrified of doing this? And it's kind of accepting it's not that what you necessarily have to say is more valuable, or that you're original in any way, shape or form, but more that you can put the words in better places and use the better words. How often have I told you you must use the good words? How can I tell you that if I don't even bother to use the good words myself? I feel like I gotta practice what I preach. So, Emma, you love writing, you know that, right? Kind of 50-50 with filmmaking. You love writing. I've been writing my short film a bit more, which is really fun. The next thing, so that's exciting. But I love writing. It's the sharing of the writing that's hard, but for God's sake, you love essays. Do it. Just do it. No one has to read it, but you have to write it. There we are. I think that's really all I have left to say. That is the thing. These are all the things. That was last year. This is this year. Let me know, because I'm so freaking nosy. Let me know what your New Year's resolutions are below. Hold yourself accountable in the comments. Yes. Thank you oh so much for watching. Thank you for returning year in, year out. It's freaking lovely. And again, it's so nice when I see you guys comment. I'm like, you've been here before. I will do my What I Read This Year video very, very soon. Of course, it's going to be split up into multiple parts because Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe and all that jazz. And I will see you guys very soon.